can't say no to gnocchi, especially when it's made with pumpkin spice. It's like your inner basic bitch activates and says, OMFG, everything in my life has led up to this moment. Take the plunge. If you've ever had gnocchi or made it yourself before, then you know that there are different kinds. So you can have ones with potato or ricotta, and that's the one we're doing today. But I'm also gonna add some pumpkin puree, because pumpkin spice is nothing without the pumpkin. In this bowl, add your ricotta, then the pumpkin puree. You can make the puree on your own, or you could buy it in a can, which is what I did. Just make sure that it's 100% pumpkin, not pumpkin pie mix. That's for lazy people like me. Let's add some egg yolks. You just need the egg yolks, so separate the whites in another bowl and add it to the mix. Give this all a good mix. This smells so good already. Ooh, I love that sound. It sounds like my Friday nights when I'm making pasta. In goes the pumpkin spice and a little bit of salt. Add the flour just a little bit at a time. So you add some, then you mix, and a bit more. You keep adding flour until the dough becomes a little more firm. You don't want it to be tough though, because you don't want a dense gnocchi. So this is the consistency you're looking for. Just gonna flour my surface a little bit so it doesn't stick. Dump this baby right on out. You don't want to knead it too much, but just a little bit to make sure it all comes together. Just go ahead and roll it all over to pick up all that flour. And now I am ready to divide and conquer. Got a bench scraper here. You could also use a knife. You're gonna work with one chunk at a time. Roll it into a little cigar and then cut off little chunks. More little nuggets. Take a gnocchi paddle like this, or a fork, you can use the back of the fork. Take your nugget and press it using your thumb and then move it downwards, like this. It's not perfect, but it gets easier as you do each one. To cook them, I have a pot of boiling water here. Just slowly drop in your gnocchi. You know they're done cooking when they all float to the top. Working very quickly in another pan, add some butter, melt that down. Just so it doesn't get too brown, add a little bit of olive oil. Drain off your gnocchi and drop it in the butter. Don't stir them around too much. You want them to get nice and crispy on one side, then you can flip them over and crisp up the other side. Look at that color. Once they're nice and crispy, just pull them out of the pan and set it aside. To hear that sound, they're like pillows of heaven. And take some gorgeous sage leaves and fry them up in that butter. When the sage is just crispy, add the gnocchi back in. You know what this needs? A little parmesan. Oh yeah! Look at that cheese dance. Just add a little more parmesan on top. Oh yes. And there you have it, crispy pumpkin spice gnocchi. I bet y'all thought this was gonna be a sweet one. Oh. Crispy, pillowy. Let me try this crispy sage. I hope you guys give this a try. I'll see you next time. Remember to just eat life. Oh my god. You picking up that crunch? The people need to hear the crunch.